Alright, friends, welcome back. I am, of course, the great and glorious and beautiful Walrus, Anthony Toon.
And I'm Leanne Palmer, your bright and sparkly little fairy. So, for this particular video, I'm going to let Tony do a lot of the talking because he just told me about the situation that occurred with Andy No.
Yes.
A conservative
journalist
who was apparently attacked. And so I'm going to let him tell you about this because I hadn't heard about it till he came over this morning to do the videos.
Okay. So, Andy No is a conservative journalist. I hate to point this out because I dislike identity politics, but I think it's important for the story. He is Asian. I don't know if he's Chinese or Japanese or whatever. He's Oriental. He's Vietnamese. He's Vietnamese. I remember now. And is a homosexual.
And a conservative.
They exist.
I am not saying they don't exist.
They're usually more libertarian. But they do exist. Anyway, Andy No has kind of made his teeth covering Antifa in Portland because Portland is basically Antifa capital of the world or whatever, at least in the USA. Now, for those of you who don't know, Antifa is actually on the domestic terror watch list. It stands for anti-fascist. They use something called the Black Bloc. Now, this is a tactic where they all dress up in black, cover the face with masks, it's hard to identify them. So, whenever they get into fights or whatever, it's hard for the police to catch them. Now, Antifa describes itself as an anti-fascist organization. However, they are extreme left-wing communists. They are, for the most part, they are predominantly white, predominantly middle-class white children, usually within their 20s, late teens, early 20s.
So we're talking Gen Y.
Gen Y. Well, the reason why I point that is because a lot of them usually grow out of it. But, anyway, Andy No was there in Portland recording one of their protests because they were out in force because the Proud Boys were out doing a rally. Now, the Proud Boys are not a white supremacist organization. I want to point that out right here, right now. But Antifa calls them a white supremacist organization. So Andy No was out recording this. He was attacked by Antifa. They've grabbed his GoPro. He was beaten with someone with, I believe they said he had some sort of weighted glove on. He was thrown milkshakes were thrown at him, but not just milkshakes. Milkshakes with fast-acting cement mixed in with it. So, he was beaten. These milkshakes with these chemicals were thrown at him. Very dangerous because the chemicals could get into his wounds. I don't think any of the chemicals got into his wounds, thankfully. But he was hospitalized with a brain aneurysm. He was bleeding in the brain. Now, let's go through some of the other highlights of the story. People have set up a GoFundMe to pay his medical bills. He has raised about $100,000, which I'm very thankful that people have come out. If I had money to donate, I probably would have donated money, but I am poor. I need about every last dime right now. So, that's the basics of the story. There have been people coming out saying that this has been great for his career. and this is going to get him publicity. I think we need to point out a couple things. He had a brain aneurysm. He might have permanent damage.
That does not help your career.
That does not help your career.
That does not help your life.
No. Your health is your most important asset. I think he would much rather have a clean bill of health than $100,000. Because if he's, it's still an ongoing story. If he has permanent damage, $100,000 might not even be enough to cover his medical expenses. We also need to talk about when the story first broke. ABC, I think it was, kind of downplayed it. I'm going to give Brian Shelter of CNN some credit. He did come out and condemn the attack, much later than everyone else. Chris Como, though, has said that Antifa is a good cause. After this attack, he has said that, and this is the same person who has before run defense for Antifa. He's the one who posted that meme of it was Allied troops storming Normandy, and it said Antifa breaks up a large fascist rally or whatever. It's like you're missing the point entirely.
Obviously.
Yes. So a couple points I want to make here. The media is obviously running defense for Antifa. There are, and Vox, VOX, The Verge, and some other online websites have run defense for Antifa since this attack. So I want to make up a couple things. Say a couple points. Number one, it is summertime. Antifa is always more active in the summer. And so Antifa is always more active in the summer. So be prepared for that. There are going to be more and more attacks. Two, I lost my train of thought. So be prepared for that. Two, people make the argument, well, why don't the media call out more white supremacists and all this? Why don't you call out more white supremacist organizations? Number one, on that point, no mainstream media organization or these in-between organizations like Vox and The Verge are supporting white supremacist organizations. Although you can make an argument that Antifa is a white supremacist organization. So we need to talk about Antifa, how they behave. And we also need to talk about escalation. A couple months ago when Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, was running for MEP in the British national, the European elections to get in the EU Parliament. It wasn't a few left wingers started throwing milkshakes at people, and it kind of became a funny meme. The right winger is afraid of a milkshake. Well, number one, you don't know what's in the milkshake. Number two, that even back then there had been people putting chemicals in the milkshake. Number three, it's an escalation of conflict. I think it's important to point out that the left has been escalating the conflict for a while now. And the problem, what they're able to do with the right wing is they're able to create a boogeyman with Richard Spencer and, I'm kind of rambling and not making a lot of sense right now. How do I want to talk about this? Okay, because it is a complicated issue. And if you're not up on everything Antifa has done in the past couple of years, you might be a little bit confused. Here's the thing, people. the left wing is good at low-level attacks. They're far more numerous. Attacks on Trump supporters are far more numerous than what the media tells you. However, the alt-right, the actual alt-right, the actual white nationalists, when they do attacks, they're much more efficient at killing people, simply put. So what happens is, even though there's more attacks coming from the left to the right, and they seem to be escalating, the problem, what happens is, when a right-winger, one of these extreme right-wingers does an attack, he usually succeeds, he or she, but it's usually a he, often succeeds in killing people. So that becomes more newsworthy. Now, we need to start calling the media out. Now, I'm very happy to see Brian Shelter talk about this on CNN the other day. But if we don't start calling out Antifa and calling out their attacks, there's going to be escalation, and there's probably going to be deaths. And let me tell you something. It's like I've tried to explain this to a couple friends on Facebook, and what I'll kind of explain now. Antifa, as I said earlier, are a bunch of kids for the most part. If things actually got violent, like we kind of see in Charlotte, what we kind of saw in Charlottesville, it's going to be them that usually dies. It's probably not going to be the right winger. They might do some damage to the alt-righter or whatever, but when it comes to flat out cruelty and brutality, which is how you win street fights, the left is not going to win that. The left will not win that. And quite frankly, it makes everyone look like an asshole. But that's all I have to say about it. What do you?
As I said, I had just heard about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
When you came in, I hadn't seen anything, so I really don't have the knowledge to comment on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to thank you for explaining what happened and going into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And apologize for being so quiet this video. I basically wasn't here.
Yes, you left me.
Okay, so...
It threw me off my game there for a little bit. Oh, she's gone. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh, shit. I rambled a little bit, and I think you'll notice in the middle of the video.
Okay.
Lost my train of thought and everything, but it's all right.
I have been dealing with some health issues and had to step away.
Yeah.
For a minute. Nothing serious. Just, we've talked about in previous videos where I take a lot of medication.
Yeah.
Doctors are adjusting my medication, and that is causing some minor issues with my with my health.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to step away and take care of something. So I do want to thank Tony, our Walrus, for covering most of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I really don't have anything to say. Like, I know a little bit about Antifa. I know about the riots in Charlottesville, but I hadn't heard about this particular attack until you came over this morning. So I really don't have a lot to say about it because I haven't had the time to do any research or to look at it or to even know what the story is.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also important to talk about kind of a point I forgot to make. People are pointing out that where were the police to protect Andy No and others from Antifa? So, and by the way, today came out, I think it was yesterday, a video came out that Antifa also beat an older man with a crowbar. So that's also happened. Where are the police in this? Okay, so we gotta make a couple points. Portland is a very far left city.
Yes.
as far as I can tell, the mayor is sympathetic to Antifa. I don't know if he doesn't quite understand what they are, which I don't think a lot of people... There are so many people who do not understand.
I don't think people completely understand what's going on. I think
they don't.
A lot of people look at Antifa and see anti-fascist and say, oh, well, that's a good thing. A lot of people look at it and see Gen Y, your late high school, early college kids doing what late high school, early college kids do, and protesting and rah, rah, rah against the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
People need to understand that it goes well beyond your standard late teen, early 20s
protest. They are on the domestic terror list, and they should be, because they are essentially domestic terrorists. So people point that out. The police can only do what they're told to do. So, when you go to one of these events and Antifa is going to be there, 1, don't go by yourself. 2, know how to fight. 3,
at least know some self-defense.
Yeah, at least know some self-defense.
We're not encouraging taking weapons. We're not encouraging anything like that. But know how to defend yourself.
Yeah. 3, not saying he asked for it, because I'm definitely not saying this. You do have to understand Andy Ngo was a journalist. He went into the thick of the Antifa group and was trying to get... Regardless, he shouldn't have been attacked. But... because that's what journalists are supposed to do. They're supposed to go into the thick. And he got attacked. But why did they beat the old man with the crowbar, I wonder?
That story, I think, needs some looking into.
Yeah. I just heard about that before I came over. That old man getting beaten with a crowbar.
Basically, what we're trying to say here is know how to defend yourself. If you're going to one of these rallies, and it's the possibility that Antifa is going to be there, 1, be aware of your surroundings. Know how to defend yourself. And be careful not to get in a situation where you're outnumbered.
Yeah.
And you don't have your backup.
Yeah.
If violence starts to break out, bug out.
Yeah.
Get in your car, go home, stay safe.
Yes.
Leave the deterrence to the professionals.
Yeah. Oh, and if by the way, if you're thinking, oh well, I'm on the left wing, so they'll leave me alone. These are the same people who attacked a Bernie supporter, I think, in Philadelphia, for having an American flag and for being far right. So, yeah, they don't care. These are kids mostly looking for a fight. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
That's pretty much what I have to say on this. And again, thank you, Tony, for pretty much covering this video for us today.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Hit the notification button so you know when the videos go up.
Yes. And thank you for tuning in.
And we will see you later.